Kuzu Zangpo and a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week. I am Namgyo Wangchuk. And our top stories this week. Her Majesty the Gyaltsen graced the groundbreaking ceremony of the construction of Gyaltsen Jitsenpema Mother and Child Hospital in Thimphu. The National Council recommended the government to come up with a new pricing mechanism to determine the fixed tourist tariff. 28 new HIV-positive cases were detected since 1st of July this year. Her Majesty the Gyaltsen graced the groundbreaking ceremony of the construction of Gyaltsen Jitsenpema Mother and Child Hospital in Thimphu. The ceremony was presided over by Geso Lube of the Central Monastic Body. The new hospital, worth 737 million mutram, will be constructed above the National Referral Hospital. Construction will begin April next year and is expected to be complete by October 2018. Once complete, the 150-bedded facility will not only improve the quality of mother and child care in the country, but also decongest the National Referral Hospital. Cost escalations, local employment, preparing feasibility reports and loan repayments were some of the issues the National Council raised while reviewing the sustainable hydropower development policy.
In a 40-page document prepared by an ad hoc committee, the National Council recommended allocating more time and resources while preparing detailed project reports before constructing a hydropower project. Pema Gachal MP Jigme Rinzin said the more detailed the study, the better prospect of a project not confronting geological problems. Today, hydropower projects in the country used only 0.42% of the total project cost towards preparing detailed project reports, while international average is around 2%. Projects in the country also took only 2 years to complete the DPR, while other countries took 5 to 10 years. Trongsai NC member Thar Chen said given the country's location on a fragile geological topography, it was important that adequate time and resources be allocated while preparing DPRs. He said there are also no clear directions on fixing accountability.
DPR di ngachi implement be kablo diganlo namme samigi zewada nora bombera jundo ane bedolo digi ginti kese gi sagu chia ngachi sata pulera ma jese shunila ane bedolo da somangi nalefa tundu di zebigi namdelo di ta lokme legul gi charji gi sammi midi ta dutimba ga inu de ta lezin ga inu de disugi charji di matutu pesam khonlo duseya matutu pi khonlo dinalo thui disuya matutu pi tubi gi jesulo ta kongi char지된 같이 사고 ngoman날로 랄렌 탑달로 딘달로 노르와다 투와 준디 야습다고 집어와진 두세 파장을 뛴디 야습다고 집어와진 공세 야르파 야습다고 집어와진 콘로 겐티케니디 사고 지가 저기 투지난디기베디 계급도 세주닐라.
He said Bhutanese and local consulting firms should also be given priority in preparing DPRs. According to the current policy, identifying consultants were not in the hands of the Bhutanese government. Nyerup Gyaltsen for BBS News.
The National Council recommended the government to relook into the tourist tariff of $250 per day and come up with a new pricing mechanism to determine the tariff. The Economic Affairs Committee of the House came up with a recommendation.
Earlier, the committee proposed to do away with the fixed tariff system while the royalty was to be maintained. As of now, a tourist visiting the country pays $250 per day as tariff. Of it, the royalty to the government is $65 per day. But revisiting the issue today, the Economic Affairs Committee recommended for review of both the tariff and royalty.
Either to maintain the royalty and free up the rest tariff so that the market can decide depending on the value and experiences they can provide. The price will naturally go above what is currently sealed as minimum. So in today's recommendation, we mentioned that the fixed minimum daily tariff, which was there since 1970s, needs to be relooked, and a new pricing mechanism needs to be worked into, basically to avoid undercutting.
Undercutting takes place when a tourism package is sold below the market price. As per the committee, although undercutting exists, there is no evidence to prove the practice.
So in order to tackle that, and also to see if there is a good taxation system in place, and also to see if the tourism sector from a 360 view, we have asked the Royal Audit Authority to do a thorough auditing process on the economy, efficiency and administration of the tourism sector.
Meanwhile, of the total 20 members present in the House, 19 voted for the endorsement of recommendations of Economic Affairs Committee on Tourism Policy and Strategies. The recommendations will now be submitted to the Cabinet. Pemal Hadan reporting for BBS News.
The Minister for Information and Communications, D.N. Dungel, said the government has not achieved any outcomes on disallowing vehicles travelling from outside the country for local transportation. This was in response to Nubi Tangsibji's MP Midub Sangpo during the question hour session of National Assembly. The matter was put up to the Information and Communications Minister by the Taxi Chokpa last year.
The Minister for Information and Communications said, since the issue is an important discussion between Bhutan and India, it is being dealt cautiously. He added they are also discussing with the relevant agencies.
Nedab nalu, sanjam nalu, rumi, ngajigi, tombe, finchilingi, tomde, teka ruwajin, tomde, dida chikalu, dunkakda chikaya digi, tekalu, sunde nagup temdalu, dilu, diche rimbe gomi di, neden dileten di jejuni. Mangche ringlu, gochuigi, go machuigi Himalaya, digi, tekalu, Tabmadeo Bombera Onime, Sule, Mahompalu Beodalu, Dinalu Tabmadeo Onime, said Dinalu Sunde now Nasara imbe. Darina Chokmanlu Bedigi Beru, Debe, Tapse, Bechumiji, Lejumji, Rikpa Sabchi Evachin, Nachilu, Sunada, Zezuni.
However, the Nubi Tangsibji MP, blaming the ministry, said, requesting the members of the parliament to contribute ideas to solve the issue is an indication that the ministry has run out of ideas.
Daju henkayi khatale junila. Dadi bemasu chamasu dauchi bewachin. Dina nedin zapti zabda yobdauchi bewachin. Di gekhabda gekhabgi tinlamgi kole imbe debe imdauchi bewachin. Di juni se jugo se juni. Chikha Jodalu, Jasam Jadi Jodalu, di Tashel Benigi Denle, di Nawami, Seshuni. Hubigi Udinalu, Husinale, Delented, Pasu, Dodel, Kelden Tabni mi, Seshuni. Di Cho Rachibe, Naya, Lalen Tabni, Yubdochi Bewachin, Machi Samba Zobsero Dechi.
Shidigi Gari Sap, Nana Omdoch Bewachin, Nimre, the Newton Nigerete. Chigi Gari Los Nab Jojochi, Nana Omdoch Bewachin, Nimre, Newton Gabjare. Chigi Gari Lochutam Bemiching, Nana Omdoch Bewachin, Nimre Tontredi, the Yuba Munaga as a Shunimi, the day, Tangajaregi, the Nabasu Shugo Mundo, the Tumbegi, the Ru, Titogi Tulegi, Tolegi Lenale, the Najaregi Nandigi Garira, the Loni Nonkolo Tonta Chuni Hapchi, the Anibe, the Wondi Do.
Limpo Dungel clarified that he sought for ideas and help, not because the ministry has failed and run out of ideas. He welcomed the idea of imposing green tax to outside vehicles as suggested by the North Thimphu MP. However, the Foreign Affairs Minister shared otherwise over the suggestion.
te phalu jodalu te di panda lo suba dele thela suba ke ochin ngachel matube dia ti jomitung sunila.
During the session, the Information and Communications Minister also informed a minimum qualification requirement for new taxi drivers will not be waived off. As per the new rule, the minimum qualification for a taxi driver is Class 8. The qualification bar has been set for transport safety and to promote qualified taxi drivers. This criterion, however, will not be applicable for those already into the profession. Chetan Dupchu, PBS News.
Visiting the Punachanchu hydropower project sites in Wangdifodrang, the members of parliament of the National Assembly questioned the project's cost escalations. The team was led by the Speaker of the House, Jimmy Zangpo.
For Punachanchu 1, from the initial project cost of 35.14 billion neutrum, it has now escalated to almost 100 billion neutrum. For Punachanchu 2, the cost has reached 76 billion neutrum from 37.78 billion initially. The project's managing director, Arun Khazanchi, explained the increase in project cost has been common with hydropower projects.
Whatever we are doing today is not the first time that change. It has been happening always, and it happened in Tala also. And not only Tala, any project you can take them. We have a lot of data available with us. In case you would like, we can even send copies to the.
In case of Tala hydropower project in Chukha, Arun Khazanchi said the completion cost was 41.25 billion neutrum, which was an increase by 3 times against the initial cost. Similarly, he said by the time the Panasangshu hydropower projects are complete, the cost would have increased by a few more billions. As part of the visit, the members of parliament were updated on the overall work progress at the two sites. While PHPA 1 has achieved a little over 75%, for PHPA 2, close to 67% of the work has been complete.
The PHPA projects were planned and implemented by the government some 6 or 7 years ago, and it has been reported that the projects are progressing well. But it is not enough just to go by what is reported in paper. The members of parliament wanted to see for ourselves practically. That's why we are here to visit the project sites.
Once complete, on an average, the two hydropower projects are expected to together generate over 2,000 megawatt of electricity annually. Compiled for Kinzang Tinle, Nyudup Gelson for BBS News.
Are members of parliament maintaining decorum in the parliament sessions? Well, basing on a few of the incidents where some MPs are either not present during a vote on any national decision or expressing irrelevant opinions, it seems no.
For instance, on Wednesday, after elaborate deliberation on the Yenla Tromde of Paro, the Speaker informed the House members need to vote to decide on the issue. However, the Speaker noticed that one Member of Parliament missed to exercise the franchise. The MP was seen coming inside the hall only after the voting was done. The Speaker reminded parliamentarians that voting may be considered just a click on the button, but they should be mindful that they are taking a national decision.
Tubrib gimna se chisul len shu in se gyakab gi thadin lu in se te tinri bolu chudebe chamtok tobe beudan te mindu tukha namdi kari chana se shuni.
Similarly, in another incident, the Speaker had to tell MP of Chumiura constituency to remain seated rather sternly. Prior to this, MP was oblivious when Speaker asked him to be seated in a formal zonka.
Juna da kachibiro chiki dinchu dini gulu shu
Speaker said parliamentarians are responsible people who are elected by the people and therefore should be mindful of how they present themselves in the parliament. Pemal Harden, BBS News.
28 new HIV positive cases were detected since 1st of July this year. This brings the total number of people detected with HIV positive to 460 since 1993. From the new cases detected, one is a minor. Sexual transmission accounts to 96% of the new cases, followed by mother-to-child transmission. Most of them were detected through contact tracing. According to the Health Ministry, about 47% of people living with HIV are residing in Chukha and Thimphu Dzongkhas. Alcohol and need for money are the main reasons for high prevalence of irresponsible sexual behavior among the college students in Bhutan. This is according to the findings from a research conducted by a group of lecturers from the Paro College of Education. The findings were presented in the 2-day international seminar on the sexuality education held in Paro.
The 8-month-long research was conducted in 10 colleges in the country this year. Dichin Somo, one of the researchers, explains that unprotected sex, multi-partners and extramarital affairs were happening despite students having full knowledge of its consequences.
though they have a huge knowledge of STIs, how they come into contact with STIs, HIV, still these young people, they do not use precaution. They do not use condoms while having sex. So that puts them at a risk, meaning that, they themselves are at a risk and then again putting the other people at a risk.
The research revealed that alcohol was the main culprit.
All the colleges have so many bars and shops selling alcohol just next to the colleges. So therefore, it was easily accessible. So therefore, these young people, they drink alcohol, and under the influence of alcohol, they don't know what they're doing. So that is again a reason for indulging in irresponsible sexual behavior.
Need for money and peer pressure made the situation worse. The findings also say youth engage in sex at a young age, mostly before high school. For Ishigasen Paro, Sunamugen, PBS News.
Druk Nyamrup Sokpa say selling foods on the street is not illegal but informal. The street hawkers, especially Thukpa sellers, visited the party office to share their concerns. The party in a press release said there is no law in place banning street vending, which means Thukpa selling is not really illegal. The press release said globally, informal workers and traders are classified into street vendors, domestic workers, home-based workers, waste pickers, and subsistence farmers. They all don't have license or don't pay taxes, but they are an important component of the larger economy. The release stated abusing Thimphu Municipal Solid Waste Management Rules and Regulation 2007 to label Thukpa selling as illegal is actually an illegal act. They said the parliament, the government and the society must recognize that informal economy is a permanent feature of the economy, polity and society. From now on, only one cylinder per person will be issued in a month for an interim measure to see how many cylinders a household consumes. This is as per the directives from the Economic Affairs Ministry last month to reduce the rush and the long waiting hours at the LPG depots and avoid the misuse of the quota. But people say they still have to wait for hours in queue.
It is about 9 in the morning, and this is the scene at the LPG depot in Motetang. The line moves at a snail's pace and the road gets jammed. People come as early as 6 in the morning in the hope to get a cylinder, but not everyone is lucky.
Se shotini oila gas mapal mato ya petrol pump giya ta level line na oi na hida gas to bet shotini asi.
Last time we were told that a cart will get 1 cylinder in 10 days, but now we don't even get that. 1 LPG in a month is also difficult to get. Recently, when I came around 10 a.m., the office was closed.
We are already late for office, but since the line is too long, we have no option but to stay back. The problem can also be solved if there are 2 persons for registration at the counter.
Previously, we were given 1 cylinder in 10 days. However, later we are told that we will get 1 in 15 days. And when I came after 15 days, they said I will get 1 cylinder in a month. If they could announce such changes through media, we need not pay 200 Newton as taxi fare to come here.
But trade officials say it was announced. They said people flocked to single distributor for various reasons, leaving other 2 services hardly used. There are 3 LPG distributors in Thimphu, and the city receives a total of 700 cylinders every day. But it seems not enough looking at the number of people at the Bhutan oil distributors in Motetang. Recently, the Economic Affairs Minister said they have sent some 75,000 cylinders for requalification, which is causing the problem. Bhutan has also requested the Indian government to increase the monthly quota from the present 50,000 cylinders, which might ease the problem of shortage. Tamchisam, PBS News.
Phuntsling Dunka Court ordered the Office of the Attorney General to prepare prosecuting JPLP tax evasion case. In the previous hearing, the legal representative of JPLP submitted that neither OAG nor ACC had the right to prosecute or investigate the tax evasion case. JPLP is charged for tax evasion worth over 184 million neutrum in the last 4 years. The Dungkhak court asked both the parties to expedite the case as it is taking too long. The court also ordered the OAG to share the data and information immediately, without which the legal representative of JBLP had said it is not possible to defend. The legal representative said despite repeated plea earlier, they could not get the data and information which were seized by the ACC during investigation in April this year. The next hearing will be on 29th December. Concerns over safety of Mebacho in Bumtang surfaced once again following the recent incident where a tourist and a guide lost their lives at the lake. People are of the view that there is a need for more safety measures for people visiting the site.
There is no official record about how many people have drowned in Mebacho as of now, but according to the people, more than 8 people have been drowned in Mebacho till now since 1990s.
Although people were not willing to come on camera, they shared the wooden bridge over the lake, which is more than a decade old, is in need of maintenance. There are also no signboards cautioning visitors to be careful, and the site is mostly covered with prayer flags blocking the sight of the lake.
Since the cultural sites are taken care directly by the Minister of Home and Cultural Affairs, there is nothing much changes that Dzongkhag can bring here in the lake.
However, the Dzongkhag committed to clear the prayer flags at the lake on a monthly basis. The Department of Culture agreed that more safety measures for the people visiting the lake are required. However, making cultural sites safe without losing its sacredness is one of the biggest challenges faced by the department. For now, as a short-term measure, the department is planning to meet with Dzongkhag administrations and respected communities to discuss safety and other issues related at cultural sites. They are also in the process of drafting a cultural heritage bill to be tabled for endorsement in the next parliament session. In the meantime, the body of the 26-year-old guide feared drowned is yet to be recovered. It has almost been a month since the incident. After a vigorous search for 3 weeks, for now the operation has been called off. Compiled for Komal Kharka in Bumtang, Sonam Hamo for PBS News.
Well, that's all we have for this week. Join us next week, same time and same channel. Thank you for now.